is Coleraine, or Coleraine Tarot here on YouTube. My pronouns are they, them. I am an energy and tarot artist, and I am creating a video for the collective of the viewers who find this video that is going to be focused on removing the barriers to love, to experiencing an unconditional love, to having conversations that have to do with love, and your own relationship to it. So this video was inspired by a exploration of the poet Rumi that I did recently. He is a Sufi poet. Sufism, is a mystic branch of Islam, and Sufis believe basically that the act of surrender, the act of giving one's entire life to the divine, to God, to Allah, is the ultimate act of love, that love is the basis, the foundation, the heartbeat, the glue that holds all other energy together. So, for example, the reason that the planets orbit around the sun is because of love. So that's a very basic and watered down explanation of what Sufism is. So if you are interested in that, please go do research with better or more qualified, I guess, resources. I just study religious studies at my school, so this is not something that I'm like completely certified in, especially since I'm not super well versed in Islam and more in other religions. But today, that was a sidetrack, but today I want to focus on bringing in this energy of love that comes from the self, love that comes from many sources, love just connecting you to that idea of love being these in-betweens, these connectors that bring energy from one place to the next, and just allowing us to focus in and allowing us to receive and give love in a more abundant nature, I guess. So I have quite a few crystals here and like various tools that I'm planning on using. So this is going to be more focused on using crystals for healing, and of using just my traditional tools for bringing this energy about. I am going to offer a tarot reading, or just pull a couple cards. They're oracle cards, so I'm going to pull some cards for guidance, just to get some more support into this message, into the messages that you may need to receive to help to activate this energy work in your own body. So I am just putting that out there just to let you know so that you can consent to participating in that. Speaking of consent, I would like at this time to give you the opportunity to start to get connected into your body, to allow yourself to use the power, the abilities of the mind to start to do this work yourself. So I like to allow you to know that I am not the one who is giving the energy. This does not come from me. This is something that I am a guide for. So I act as a channel to allow for you to ultimately do the energy work yourself. I just kind of, it's like the painter, you know, I paint the picture, but it maybe isn't necessarily something that is fully of just my own cognition, I guess. So at this time, if you are willing and open to receive energy work, if you are simply using this as a meditation tool, by all means, you are able to use this in any way that you would like. But I want you to maybe set the intention, be open to receiving any kind of energy that is meant to find you following your participation in this work. So without further ado, I'd like to light our candles. I like to set the intention together just so that you can be a participant in this process, but also that you can know that whatever space that we're creating is one that you are comfortable being in. I'm going to light this match with the intention that this white tall candle brings in a space of compassion, healing, connection, ultimate communion with our guides, angels, any kind of being that is in the spiritual realm that is assisting in this beautiful energy work session that we're going to be doing today. And I'm going to just set the intention that the guides of the highest wisdom, compassion, truth, these kind of things are the ones who are invited to come through. And I'm going to light this candle. And as I light this, as always, if you have an intention, thank you, a specific guide or just an energy that you've been working with, so even if you don't work with deities or spirit guides specifically, I'll give you a little look. There's a little bit of extra wax on the sides, but if you have a specific deity, spirit guide, ancestor that you've been connecting with, maybe ask for their assistance, ask for them to assist in this work, bring in a message for you, something that's going to be really helpful. Okay, and I'm going to set this back here where I had it before. And the second candle that we're going to light is going to be in this Himalayan pink salt container, and I love the noises of it, so I'm going to make some noises as I speak here. And the frequency of the Himalayan pink salt, or just pink salt in general, is protection, specifically assistance in love, in maintaining love, in just these experiences of like compassion, devotion, these things that we experience. Oh, that candle is going crazy back there. Those things that we experience that make us feel connected, that make us feel independent, but in a way that we are still grounded and rooted in these systems of love and self-actualization, these kind of sovereign connections that we make. So I love the noises of this. Okay. And for this second candle, it's just a little white tea light that I have dressed with some rosemary and some olive oil. And rosemary and olive oil are, I think, connections to ancient wisdom, connections to personal empowerment, so this kind of self-love energy, but also fidelity, that kind of awareness in relationships, like opening that third eye connection. So I want to light this candle with the intention that it does activate the third eye and the heart chakra, so that the decisions and the ambitions and choices that are going to be made to connect with this energy are ones that are made with this compassionate love, with this self-love, with this divine love, maybe an agape type love in mind. These love-based frequencies that are not out of fear or control or power dynamics, these things that kind of in our modern world and even in the ancient world have kind of skewed the way that we experience love, and just opening us up to a more balanced perspective. So there's the match for this. That match did something interesting, and I think fire is a really good indicator, especially when we're doing energy work, of intentions and these kind of things. So I do want to speak over this, just that this is helping us to connect with each person. So each one of you get to connect with your individual and most aligned experiences of love, because everybody's going to want to experience love in different paradigms, in different ways, in different intensities, and so I want to respect each individual person's experience of what they need to experience in terms of love right now. And it's just so beautiful. I'm going to tap it a little bit more. Start sending in almost like a priming, like when you put a primer of paint, a priming energy into the aura. Radiates from this candle holder right now. Okay. This is going to go back here with the other candle. This cushion is upholstered, so it has little divots in it, so it's a little bit difficult to get things to stay, right? Especially with flames. I don't want to mess with that. So what you did not just see is that I started coughing, and I didn't want to leave it in for obvious reasons, but I am feeling like some messages are starting to come through about how you treat the breath, how much connection that you pay to your breath. Our breath and our words really do have the power to create and destroy, foster belief systems, share information, pass down our truth, share our stories, share the stories of others, debate, create these kind of things. And love is very much something that seeks to go the distance, to experience both sides of what we experience as polarities, whether that be light and dark, good and bad, these kind of things, even masculine and feminine, these kind of energies that are highly debated, these polarities that a lot of our society is trying to grapple with, all the little in-betweens. And our breath is something that always connects us back into the body. It is the experience of the in-between, between spirit and matter. And it's something that I feel like really connects to all different energy systems and physical systems in the body, because we bring in oxygen and all these different aerated nutrients in through the lungs into the body, and that regulates our blood, a lot of our nervous system, all these different things. So a lot of our energy in the body does connect to the breath. So be aware and pay attention to how you're using your breath, the things that you bring in through your lungs, and even these sensory experiences of like scent, I feel like is something that's really important for a lot of people right now to pay attention to. But as I'm talking about this breath, and we're focusing on intentional consumption of things and the frequency of the things that we surround ourselves with and their metaphysical properties, I want to start to pull out pieces of energy, connections to things that hold us back from that love. So going back to that Rumi quote that said, "We are not to seek love, but seek every barrier that we have to receiving or experiencing love." I want to start to pull out beliefs. I'm feeling like there's a lot of stuff down in the root that we can sever, pull away, and just release those bonds. So as I'm doing this work, I want you to start to focus down into the breath, or yes, I guess down into the breath, but where the breath is traveling in the body, and maybe down into the deeper parts of the body, just to kind of allow for these ideas, these beliefs, maybe to come to the forefront of a conscious thought so that they can be consciously released as well as subconsciously and energetically released. So breathe in, breathe out, and imagine this, any residual energy that is attached to these cords just being released on each breath. So breathe in and breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. Okay, and I'm pulling from you, kind of behind the root, the back part of the root, these extremely subconscious things, these things that are passed down through like ancient lineages and ancestral knowledge and these kind of things that maybe even are attached to religious beliefs or familial connections to even magical practices, these kind of things. So I'm just cutting these away. Continue to focus on your breath, breathing down into the body and out. Okay, then I'm going to move up to the heart area, up higher. The heart, I always believe, is somewhere where we incarnate in through the body from a spiritual sense. And so a lot of our soul data, I guess that's what you would call it, is down in this area, because this is where our vitality comes from. Our heart beats throughout the entire rest of the body. The blood, just the magic of that goes through the entire body. And I don't know, there's a reason why people have used blood in different magical rituals for who knows how long. So I just want to start pulling out any of these spiritual attachments and just severing them. Breathe in and breathe out. I'm going to pull from behind the back. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay, I'm going to start pulling some crown attachments and taking from this area of conscious recognition of even subconscious beliefs. We hold a lot of those dichotomies up here, so I just want to release the beliefs or release things that keep us in these polarizing states, almost like magnets, where they have to be categorized into positive or negative poles. And I want to create more of a balance. I'm seeing a state where there are two magnets, and then because their polarities are so different, their pole almost like nullifies in the center. And I am feeling a lot of stuff start to come up in the throat chakra. I do feel like there's a lot of communication that's going to start flowing through once we work through this, the highest chakra that is the more connections to these spiritual and universal truths, because the crown chakra, I do think, in an energy sense, is an area where we not only connect with these ancestral experiences, these more universal human collective embodied truths, but we recognize the oneness, these states of coming back to a life source, the same source of life. And that is what we're working with today, because the source of life, we're coming from this understanding or this agreement that love is one of those foundations of life, those sources of life. And so blockages or limitations or things that created us in a state of division as a human collective and ultimately block us from love, because love can be fierce. I've talked about this before, coming from like a Buddhist perspective. Love is fierce. Love fights. Like, there is love in war. There's reasons why we discuss love as almost like a war-like experience, because a lot of people do go to fight for love. And so love doesn't have to look one way, and the embodiment of that doesn't have to look one way. It doesn't have to just be peaceful or passive. But it's important to not create divisions that are so harsh that we discount other people's realities, or we block ourselves from conflicting experiences within our own selves. That's the part of being a peacemaker, I guess, or someone who's a mediator or love-centered or love-focused, and furthering paradigms is to be able to recognize, okay, what is all these different dichotomies that exist, and how can I be a bridge between these, and further conversation and debate, these kind of things. I really do think that debate is something that's a really important aspect of love. I haven't really heard a lot of people talking about this, so maybe other people agree with me, but I don't know, I think debate is something that's really important, because that's how we get to a more balanced perspective. I keep seeing 2s on the timestamps as I'm filming. And I feel like this 2 is a number of balance, of connection, just as other numbers are. Even 3 is a number of creation, which you have to connect to create. So, but this 2 number is a very much one that can signify division or things coming together. So there are these layers to this number, I guess. Not just one experience of it. Okay. I would like to light some incense right now. And we're going to be using this. Tap the box a little bit. I'll show you what it's. Incencio. I don't know if I'm saying that right. De Santa Fe. This is incense of the West. I really love this incense. They make sacred wood incenses from what I've seen, and just magical. Like, I can't describe the scent. It's like a campfire. The hickory one is just beautiful. I don't know, does it say anything about it? No, it doesn't say anything. But you do use it like you would firewood. So we're going to light this from the love intention that we set. Oh, actually, no, we're not. That's going to burn me. And we're going to light this incense with the intention that it protects the space, makes a clearing space, because I'm going to start to clear things out of the aura. It's going to get a little bit loud right after this section, just because this is more of the beginning portion of the video. I'm going to start to clear things out that are connected to these blockages, energy, kind of sticky spots, things like that. But I want to create a space using this incense, or use this incense to support the creation of a space that is comfortable and safe, but also allows us to move out of that comfort zone, because love is something that I feel like we have this idea that it has to only be comfortable, but love is something, it's the source of life. Like, it's consistent, it's reliable, but it's also something that moves and changes and evolves and shifts, and that's why we associate water with this connection of emotional love, and even these like deeper turbulence that comes with that emotion. So it's not just going to be one experience, but we can honor all of those experiences and hold space for them. So we're going to light this incense. It takes a minute for this incense to light, so as I'm lighting this, I just want to talk a little bit about the idea of protection, the idea of making a safe space or a protected space. And a lot of people want to talk about protection from a fearful place, and I don't think that fear really has a place when it comes to love. I think a lot of love can trigger experiences of fear because of the ways that we've kind of messed it up in a lot of ways. Not that humans are totally mess-ups, but a lot of the ways that we experience love has been messed up. And it's been pulled away from what I think is like a more true experience of it, or a untarnished experience of it. But just like anything else, the love that is so deeply ingrained into us, like divine love, is something that we can never mess up. It's something that is going to try and show it to us again and again. And to me, because we've been kind of focusing on this little like religious type look at love, I think that the divine can be whatever you want to experience it as, because there is a lot of religious trauma and control and oppression related to it. And as I'm doing this, I'm just fanning this into your aura to start cleansing. But the divine is, I believe, an experience of collective consciousness or collective ideas around what we might think is like religious or spiritual beliefs, these universal truths. The divine is something that's ineffable if we're going to come at it from a perspective of Taoism, something that we can't fully comprehend. And I really do think that the one thing that I experience divinity through is love, regardless of if that's romantic or friendship or familial. It's something that continues life. It sustains us in our darkest and in our lightest moments, in every experience that we have, those ones that push us to be better, that we might consider dark, and those ones that push us to keep going, that we might consider light. So they're just two sides of the same coin, really. And I just think that love is something that we can't just categorize as good or bad, or any of these human concepts. And that's why I'm saying that humans have kind of messed up love sometimes, because we try and contain it. And I don't think that love can be contained. Okay. And that fan was just a fan that my sister brought to me when she went to China. Don't know where she bought it in China, but it was a gift, so I will use it. And speaking of love, I think that family love is one of those beautiful and tragic and so deep explorations of love and the continuation of love, that kind of spiritual love that carries down through generations. So, okay, I want to start using crystals. Actually, I'm going to read a little bit. Sorry for psyching you out. So, hopefully this will kind of just come up and out through here. I'm going to give you a little bit of a pull things down. Maybe imagine some starlight or something, some kind of cosmic energy coming through, maybe like rose petals down through the aura. Really start to connect in with the body. I always think of the body as our ultimate oracle. It's like our BS detector. We have sensations and feelings that connect us to our truth, the things that we resonate with, because everybody's going to resonate with different truths. I think that there are universal truths, like, I guess around like love being the foundation of life and these kind of things, but most often, I think that there are truths that are very specific to where you're at in your journey and the next steps that you need to take and the things that you're called to do. So, we're just stepping into a very individual or very specific, intuitive perspective. Just so that the messages that are meant to read you, or reach you, will find you. So as soon as I open this deck, the first thing that comes is I am infinite. This is an affirmation deck that I made. It's very watery, very emotional. And two cards want to come out. Okay. This is I move on with ease and comfortable flow. The second one is I am an important part of my social network. Okay. So these energies together, I might even put them up back here so you can see them while I talk. These these energies together, I move on with ease and comfortable flow. I am an important part of my social network. I feel like when we have to move on, I know for a lot of people collectively, just based on the chart that's happening right now, and it doesn't have to be exclusively to right now because energy work is very timeless, but something that's happening in terms of collective advancement is shifting of social circles, the ways that we connect and resonate with our friends and the people that we view as kin. And so making new connections and forming new bonds can be scary, but you're never going to pass up or not be guided into the groups and the experiences and the connections that you're meant to experience. These are some things that I feel like sometimes we feel obligations, or we feel like we have to uphold certain loyalties, and the purpose of life is not to stagnate. It's not to get stuck doing some kind of experience once you have outgrown it. These things are meant to, sometimes there are things that we resonate with that we can carry on because they're part of our life mission. We continue to resonate with them. Those are great things to do. But other times, there's phases of life, and there are things that we connect with for a certain amount of time because we are supposed to be brought into the same space, and it's like chemistry. Things collide, they react with each other, and then they come away two separate, but similar to how they began, just in a different way, substances or materials. And this is not to say that everyone who finds this video is going to be leaving a bunch of people in their life. No, I'm just saying that maybe thinking of our connections as, like I said, with that chemistry, the reactions, the ways that we come together and turn into something new. I'm also getting a big sense with this. I am an important part of my social network card because it has rainbow colors on it. Just that signifies to me all of the chakra systems, and if you don't resonate with chakra systems, just all of the energy parts of the body, like the entire body, being a vessel for a collective message or collective experiences, just connecting with community in general and like larger groups of people and like larger experiences. We've seen collective movements of a large group of people before throughout history. This is always something that's happening. So you may be somebody that's a really great anchor for people, especially if you make like online content, or there's something about like social networking that is important for you right now. There's something about an expansion maybe in terms of your experience with social networking, so you may have a bit more influence, or people just may be more attracted to what you're doing. There's something that's resonating more with people. And then I move on with ease and comfortable flow. This is meaning, again, it really goes well with the intention of this video, where we're talking about it's not to seek love, it's to remove any barriers that you have to it. And in terms of the Sufi belief, they include that there's a lot of, like within this belief that's based in love, they include that a lot of this has to do with surrendering and just kind of giving yourself up to the flow of the divine, the will of things around you, the will of higher forces and higher beliefs that are within yourself. And I don't know if I want to resonate with the term higher belief. I guess just a more like the big picture perspective beliefs within you, like those dreams that carry you into like a dream job, or call you to move across the country or across the world, like these kind of like big growth steps that call love to you and help you to experience a really strong faith. I think that faith is just another word for a deep and unexplainable love. And so I am getting a lot of faith with this. comfortable flow. That word flow that's in that card I think is really essential to this experience. And so with that, I'm being called to, okay, first I'm going to use this. This is actually a cat toy, but I just want to pull anything out of the immediate aura, the immediate auric field, and then slowly work my way into these deeper, like more astral body. This is kind of a thing that's closer to the center, closer to the physical and the most dense material of the self or of the body right now. To get this to kind of flow, I want to call in, like, this is silver. I like this idea of like this liquid silver, just kind of dripping down. And when it drips down, it's almost like when you put soap on a car and then you do that with that little scraper thing. I'm not really sure what it's called, but just kind of completely coating and then wiping it new. So and I don't know if this is just an experience that I'm having, but I'm being called to share a little bit about my own connection into the earth, my own material and like physical connection right now. It's been very unstable. I'm actually in the process of moving again for like the second time this year. And so I feel like a lot of you may be experiencing a similar ungroundedness, and it's not that you're not grounded in the body. I think it's like a physical movement or some kind of actual change. This could be like changing of jobs. It's something that makes it so that the actual grounded connection that you have to the earth and to your place on the earth is a little bit disrupted right now. And so some of that, what I was doing was kind of clearing away at the bottom around that earth star chakra, just clearing away extra debris. And if you don't resonate with chakras, that's totally fine. I just use them as ideas of like energy and how it relates to the physical world. And the earth star would be our physical energetic connection to the earth. So that experience when you go out into the like natural world and you feel more at peace, maybe at a place like your hometown, or maybe even more chaotic in your hometown, just the memory of the earth and the way that your body resonates with that memory of the earth. So I do have a Selenite Wand that I want to use really quickly to kind of call through just a because the incense is almost at the end, I want to pull in a intention clarifier type of an energy, just to go back to feeling. I want to infuse this experience of love, this acknowledgement, this conscious awareness of the love that it is in the energy, the life force energy that's in the body. So I'm just going to pull this through your aura really quickly, allowing the heart chakra especially. And if you don't resonate with chakras, that's totally fine. Just think of this as the energy system that is related to your physical heart space and like the way that it pumps blood through the body. Just pulling more of this love-based energy, allowing this heart chakra to expand and relax, feel more at peace through the body. Pulling over the head. I love the sound of the selenite. Reminding you to breathe again. Breathe deep and breathe out. Breathe deep and breathe out. Being called ball to go around the sacral. And again, if you don't resonate with chakras, the sacral is an energy center that is around the navel, and so this often relates to our reproductive systems, these subconscious emotional experiences. And so I'm just calling in more of this peace, more of this flow, this understanding, this wisdom, connecting you to your relationship, your specific relationship with love, with that source, life force energy. The source of all of our energy comes from this energy center. If you're thinking of it in terms of Chinese medicine, that is where the qi originates in the body. So I just want the qi of the body, the life force energy of the body, the love energy in the body to be cleansed. And I don't know if I really fully resonate with that word, because it implies that there's dirtiness to it in some level, which I don't think that that's really the case. But I just want to call in a free flow, a movement of this energy, so that you can be more consciously aware of it, that you can tend to and help to work with this energy where it's calling you, where it's pulling you, and even get more connected in with the intuitive nudges that your feelings are giving you through this energy system in the body. And the reason I'm using selenite to do this today is because selenite is a material that is very pure. You can hear just those high frequency noises that it makes even when you tap it, but it's a cleanser. Again, take that with a grain of salt, but it is really just strong intentionally. You can use it to direct intention. It's just a lovely, lovely material. I do think there's a cosmic energy to it. Okay. And I'm actually, before I set this down, I just want to drag it through the aura again. Just almost like I said before, that little like squeegee, I think that's what it's called. Just releasing any extra that's still lingering. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to shake this around for a minute. This is a little amethyst bottle. And as I do this, I'm just calling around your body an energy of fertility, energy of creation. Amethyst is another one of those stones that I think is connected to divine love, that agape type love. If you don't know what agape is just the love of the divine. Seen 444, these angel type numbers. The frequency of angelic protection. And if you don't resonate with angels, that's totally alright. It's just these forces of comfort, compassion, wisdom. Especially around the root chakra, I feel like this. And the earth star too. Just calling in the support of the exploration of how you define love, how you experience unconditional love, how you experience bliss through connecting with your own love, self. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to end up using all of these, but because I have quite a few stones next to me and this video has gotten a little bit long, but I have a Rhodonite Sphere here. Rhodonite's all about healing emotional trauma, emotional wounding, these things that I feel like are blockages to love. And as soon as I held this, I just thought of the Hubba Bubba bubble gum. It's probably just the look of it. And also like Pepto-Bismol. It's kind of like bubble gummy flavor type things, but I feel like this stone is really good at kind of cleansing that. Like Pepto-Bismol allows for your stomach troubles if you're having problems digesting things, and I feel like trauma has a lot to do with like blockages in digesting a feeling or digesting a spiritual energy, especially those like spiritual experiences that we have with people that teach us about the ways that we give and receive love, the ways that we block love or we push away love, and those things about attachment and the way that attachment influences love. And I apologize if you hear my stomach rumbling. I'm a little bit hungry, I guess, now. But also, whenever I do energy work, I feel like my stomach moves sometimes. So I'm going to tap this back and forth. Again, to merge spirit and matter. Those dichotomies, those polarities that you hold within your own self. Four corners, all experiences of things that ground you. Help you if you're working with shadow work or trauma-based work, which I think are kind of the same thing. But all of these experiences, they're a little bit more scary, that skew our perception of love, skew our trust. I really want to bring in a strong focus on trust into the heart space right now. And give you a little chance to look into this rhodonite again. Just feel it. Just snaking it through your body, through all of your energy systems, and around the top of your head. There's like a little halo that shines some pink light over the body, just to support in loving acceptance of all sides of the self. Beautiful. Okay. Lastly, I'll introduce these other stones before I use this, just to acknowledge their support of our energy session today. We have actually, two of these are from Peru, so shout out to Peru. The Rhodonite's from Peru. This was a gift from Peru. Opalite. Well, my friend went to Peru, I guess. Not a gift from Peru, but she brought this back for me. So this Opalite, you can see those beautiful rainbow type energies in there, connecting you to all the spectrums of color. But this is a stone of healing, calming, connecting with spiritual truths, these kind of things. So very much that energy that we were just bringing in with the rhodonite. And it makes me buzz a lot around the third eye. Just that like wanting to open the eye more, wanting to be more aware and awake. And speaking of the third eye, this Labradorite, I'll try and get it to shift for you a little bit. Oh, there it is. That's beautiful. Maybe imagine this is like a lighthouse beam that can send some just loving Venus type energy into your system. All that beauty. Experience of beauty in all of its forms. Unconventional beauty. But this is a Labradorite heart. And it's pink and orange and purple when it shifts. I don't know if this side will shift because it's a little bit more difficult, but this stone, I feel it connects us to the way that we perceive beauty, the way that we are able to view our own ability to heal in the body, the way that we view matter, the way that we see the spiritual significance in matter, because the frequency of energy really does manifest itself. That's what manifestation is. It's materializing something from spirit to matter. So just allowing this stone to be here today to help us to assist in those manifestations of love. And then the third stone that has an honorable mention, but we're not really going to use it, just for time's sake, is this flower agate. Flower agate, I feel, is a very strong stone. It has the power, almost like mushrooms, to reveal the ways that consciousness is evolving. I also feel that it has the ability to break down old systems, so old systems that tell us kind of oppressive beliefs about love, especially with the way that we experience our own feelings, the things that honor our own personal journeys and truths. So this stone, I really connected Cancer into the Justice card. And the Justice card, again, is one of those cards that very obviously highlights the two sides, or dichotomies, polarities. So, and then the balance of these. And Cancer, even in its like symbol, has that like top part and then that bottom part that swoops, and it's showing the constant motion, the evolution, and that flow, because it is a water sign. So this is here to help us with that kind of personal, internal sense of morals, values, principles that have to do with love. And finally, this is the stone that I'm actually going to use. I'll start to make it make some noise for you down here, because I love the noises that it makes. But this is pink amethyst, or red amethyst. And this stone, I was really perplexed when I got it, because I was just so drawn to it, and I didn't really know what it was for. And then I did some time, like I spent some time with it. I did some research of what other collective opinions are on this stone. And this stone has to do with the mutual reciprocation, this kind of mutuality, and that's something that I think is important, at least in my own practices with love. Just the idea of things being like that mutual beneficial type of energy, where what you're giving you're also getting in return, and it's intentionally a match between any parties who are engaging in this give and take. And this stone is also a really good protective type stone. I'll give you a look at it now, because it sends back or repels any energy that is not a vibrational match to you, or is not aligned with the work that your like guides, or that you as an individual are trying to do, just things that are not in your best interest. So I want to use this as an energy comb. I'm gonna start just combing. Imagine like if you almost had something soft, like fur or hair in your aura, just these more softer parts of your aura, just to kind of comb through them, disrupt them a little bit, take out any knots or tangles that have to do with love that has been given to you that you don't resonate with, or love that is not for the highest alignment of you, or love that is not comfortable or comforting. Just calming, almost taming, or why taming came forward. It's like just order. It's like bringing order to these beliefs. Helping you create a practical plan, thinking like Virgo type energy now. And recognizing people's intentions through their actions, through their words. Virgo is a very, right now, as I'm filming this, Venus and Mars are both in Virgo. And so these represent kind of polarities between like what we might think of as like gendered energy, but also just they really do have to do with our relationships and the way that we experience the building and the continual exchange in relationships, both the indulgence and the structure of the relationships. So bringing in a peace, a clear analytical mind, and clearing out anything, again, back to our original intention, cleansing, purifying, restructuring beliefs, patterns of behavior, habits that keep us from love, allowing you to receive and accept, opening you to a beautiful divine grace. Okay. And with all of that, I would like to close this session with another oracle reading. Now, this is the Flowers from the Dead Oracle. This I found on Etsy. And I would like to ask this deck to give us an animal or just an emotional frequency that is going to support or maybe act as a sign of this energy, of this unconditional love, some kind of just a frequency of unconditional love that we can turn our conscious focus and awareness to at this time. It will support this energy being integrated into the way that we live our spiritual and physical lives. Just one card. What a beautiful card to get. So the bottom of the deck energy is diplomacy, kindness. Hopefully the glare isn't too bad. Diplomacy and kindness. And it shows these feathers on the head. And the bottom of the deck energy, I always see as the subconscious energy that is supporting this. And there are two jaws actually on this, because this card, or this deck as being the flowers from the dead, it's almost like if we think of flowers as being temporary, or the blossoms, these bloomings, these fully realized fruits or pre-fruits, because sometimes flowers turn into fruits, just expressions of beauty from the divine or from nature, and it uses bones to do that. And the bones are these structures, these things that carry on long after the flesh, the material, is no longer embodied. And so with diplomacy and kindness being this subconscious energy that we're holding here with the feathers and two jaws, it's almost like what you're saying sometimes doesn't necessarily even come from you. Diplomacy and kindness gives us a more us focused or a we mindset rather than a me, but it also takes into account the me that I represent, or the things that you resonate with as a self-experience, and then also how that affects a broader collective, especially with our word diplomacy. And then kindness, again, like I said before, kindness does not have to be something that, or love does not have to be something that's only kind, and kindness can be something that when you're acting out of a place of really grounded and centered love and compassion, it does not have to only be gentle or passive. Sometimes it is kind to let someone know when they're being, being rude, but when they're hurting people or doing something that perpetuates injustices. And then the card that came out is Deer. So this is the conscious energy. And this is card 6. And 6 is the number of the lovers in the tarot. 6 is also a number that I feel is really misunderstood, because a lot of people try and associate it with the devil, which the devil is misunderstood. If you would like to experience a little bit more of a deep dive into the devil, I do have a I think I was calling it Reiki at the time, but I don't resonate with that anymore. But I have an energy work session on the devil. I will link it below. But the deer is a frequency that is kind, gentle. This also has the word kindness. I didn't even realize. So kindness is something that is going to flow throughout all of the actions and intentions, and just be really purely kind. That is going to connect you to these. But if you see deer, that's a very specific sign that has to do with this true unconditional love and being gentle. So things that are gentle are not going to push you to do things that are not aligned with you. Gentleness is something that I think is a very well-developed quality of anyone who is very balanced in terms of like the gender, your own experiences of gender. So someone who really thinks with a we mindset, or thinks with an us mindset, thinks with a unconditionally loving mindset, is somebody who is going to want to be gentle in their approach. And that doesn't have to mean that they're not a fighter, that they're not assertive or strong. It's just the energy, the frequency of everything that someone does comes from a place of being gentle, of respect, honor, cherishing. And so I think that that's a beautiful way to close out this energy session. I am so very grateful that you stuck around with me for the entirety of this session. I want to thank you, thank your guides, thank my guides, thank every other force in the universe that brought us together for this beautiful and miraculous connection today. I pray that so many blessings, so much love finds you today, and I will see you in another video.